And now, your official TigerBait postgame show with Mike Scarborough and Preston Guy starts now.
Well, how about that, everybody? LSU gets that monkey off their back, breaks through a hard-fought game in Clemson. Had some monkey business in there. Had LSU lost, certainly would have been the talk of the town, that touchdown that wasn't. Frankly, I think from beginning to end, LSU showed, and I believe this, I said it before the game, I thought LSU was a more talented team from 1 through 85 or whatever the total number of scholarships LSU has right now. And I think they showed it tonight on the road at Clemson. And just a huge win for LSU going forward. And what did I tell you all offseason? I was predicting 9-3. If LSU came out and won tonight, I'm going straight to 11-1, and I'm going there. Blake Baker's defense off the chain. What more can you ask from that group? Yeah, there were some things in our live chat on TigerBait, disgruntled with some of the red zone stuff in the first half, but they worked their way through it and got it done. Blake Baker's defense, a big part of it. And so we're going to discuss that and a lot more. We're live all over every feed. Please share it out. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. And we're going to go as long as y'all want to tonight. We'll have Brian Kelly postgame on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. And plus Brian Lazar's analysis. Preston's postgame story will come later. But Preston, give us your thoughts, man.
2003 Georgia. 2007 Virginia Tech, 2011 Oregon, 2019 Texas. Those are the colossal wins LSU has ripped off early season in this century, and this is right up there with them. Now, we know how those seasons went. You ended all of those seasons in the national championship. I don't know where this season is going to end, but guys, I've been telling y'all, I did pick LSU to lose this game because I said I'm not trusting BK in an opener until I see him look good in one. He looked good in one tonight overall. A huge win, guys. I've been telling y'all, it was in my heart. I've been looking at this team, and I'm a huge believer, and I've been pumping the brakes as hard as I can and using logic. No, Preston, 10-2. Clemson's a bad matchup. But, guys, I'm telling you, sky's the limit for this team. There will be no more brake pumping. I'm a believer in this team. I've been telling people I ultimately do believe in this coaching staff. And I think that if Brian Kelly can't make the playoffs with this roster, I would lose belief in them. But you know what? We're not talking about missing the playoffs at this point. Where at this point, we have to dice up how high is LSU going to be ranked tomorrow? Do they pass up Ohio State? I mean, Ohio State beat Texas, but is that a more impressive win than what we saw out of Clemson? I think the Texas loss today was more about how Arch Manning wasn't as good as he was supposed to be. Clemson looked good, guys. LSU's defense was just dominant.
Yeah, look, that was mightily impressive. This is absolutely – look, everything that we're seeing in this postgame is stuff that we were saying beforehand. I think everybody was in the show-me attitude. I'll believe LSU can win an opener when I see it. I don't know if it was kind of the reverse jinx that a lot of us probably had in our heads, but I think a lot of things that we were saying now I will say this, a lot of things that we were saying about how this game would go and how it would play out. I thought this game might go over the 57.5 or whatever it was. If you would have told me LSU would win this game with Chris Hilton with so little production, Aaron Anderson with a huge night, Caden Durham with some nice runs, Nussmeier didn't make the mistakes. The offensive line held up. Blake Baker's defense with a takeaway. How many takeaways they have? 2? What's the total?
Let me pull that stat. I'm having trouble. I mean, just fourth down count. I mean, they had the one interception. Did they have a fumble? Let me see here. Oh gosh, the stats just disappeared on me.
Clemson had no fumbles.
Yeah, it's one interception, right?
Yeah, just the one interception, but just some incredible defense. Blake Baker and that group needs a game ball.
Oh my God!
I mean, would you say that that's the MVP of this game? That defense?
Well, let's ask the big question now: where you move from here? Is LSU's defense as dominant as they appeared, or is this thing where Clemson wasn't that good? Guys, I think Clemson's going to win the ACC. I wouldn't be shocked if Clemson goes 11-1 this year. I think Clemson's the real deal. We're talking about a quarterback who threw for 3,500 yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year, and LSU completely dominated them. Guys, I think LSU's defense is the real deal.
There we go. Trucking with Casper right out the chute with a super chat. Casper's one of our best, and he says, how about them Tigers? And big is up to Delane and Perk. Yeah, Mansour Delane. Harold Perkins is what we thought off season, that this was going to be a breakout year for him. And he's lined up where he needs to be. Linebacker core as a whole, fantastic. Ashton Stamps. Did anybody cuss Ashton Stamps one time tonight? Huh? I mean, maybe if I go back and watch the film, right? PJ Woodland out there laying the wood. Shoot.
PJ Woodland looked really good tonight.
Yes, he did.
Who on this defense didn't look good? And I've been telling people all offseason, this sounds like a crazy statement to make and then pick LSU to lose the opener. But 11 out of 11 are better on this defense this year, and it 100% showed. Absolutely showed.
All right, we got 1,000 people in here now. Thank y'all. Spread the word. We're going to go as long as y'all want tonight to discuss this one. Share it on your social media. Text the link out to your fellow LSU fans, and we're going to get to as many as y'all can. And thank you. But let's dive in real quick. SL Purple, yeah. Joshua Barger, finally. We really need to beat one of the better teams of their house by 2 touchdowns. Going to be a good year. Shouldn't have been that close. I think LSU should have won by 3 scores.
Well, that's the thing we need to dive into. I think LSU was the dominant team. You outgained them 351 to 261 tonight. I mean, if you take the field goal right before half, and you consider that touchdown that Clemson got that had 2 questionable calls on it, by the way, a blatant holding they missed, and then an offensive PI they pulled off that I need to go brush up on the rules and go watch the film again, but I do know it was enough to question. Then you take away that unbelievable touchdown Baye and Brown caught, And then there's an argument that Bauer Sharp didn't fumble that ball on Clemson's first field goal. There's a real argument that LSU should have pitched a shutout tonight. I'm just saying.
Yep. It's look, man, I admit, you guys know it. Someone said the other night, the day when I was giving 9-3, Mike, you've always been 9-3. And I said, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I try not to be negative. I work on it. But this, what did I tell you? There's going to be a whole lot of people with an extra pep in their step in Louisiana in the coming week. It really does change everything for fans' outlook of Brian Kelly, the program, where it's going. Louisiana Tech home game next weekend. Then the Gators come to town. I was texting a group of friends, including Preston. I got like 4 or 5 groups in my phone, and I said, Arch Manning has a rotten day and Texas loses. Alabama falls to Florida State. Okay, LSU, don't screw the weekend up. And boy, they came through. And so what a day. And so, Preston, you're talking about who lost ahead of LSU. It's not just about who lost ahead of them. I think LSU's performance on the national stage on the road in Death Valley Junior. I think LSU is going to not just make the move because of those 2 losses. I think they're going to make a move because they impressed a lot of people.
Unless Notre Dame or Miami do something crazy, LSU should be top 2 in the country next week. And don't be surprised. LSU will get number 1 votes. They absolutely are going to get.
I don't know if I'm going that high, but I think they make a move. Top 5.
I mean,
5, 4.
I think if you're doing something respectable and looking at what the teams have done and accomplished, I think LSU is the most accomplished team in the country. Maybe Ohio State, but I think Clemson's better than Texas, in my opinion.
Look, to come out in that environment, and yes, a lot of aggravation with some of the play calling in the first half, but really not have a bunch of snafus and mean, heck, let me pull that up real quick. I ought to have know off the top of my head. What's the total penalties?
It was 5. It ended up at 6 for LSU. 6 for 45.
Dude, that is absolutely acceptable.
Yeah, of course
6
it is.
for
In
45
fact,
on the road with all these newcomers in that environment. That's absolutely acceptable.
I guess it's just the ones that were just so easily avoidable, like your receivers with a legal procedure. What the heck are you doing?
Boy, Brian Kelly was laying in the Cortez Hankton. All right, Kaysen with a super chat. Mike Preston, what did you think about the play calling? Where was the vertical passing game? Is Kelly and co-calling the plays? Or co-calling the plays? How much do you think Sloan's allowed to call? Felt like Nuss was handcuffed. Look, I think that they were calling to this environment and to what and taking what the defense was giving them. I was just really shocked by the fact that we didn't see enough of Chris Hilton. Barry and Brown would have liked to seen some more his way. Aaron Anderson did what Aaron Anderson does. I talk about Bauer Sharp all spring, how he never drops balls, and what does he do? He yeah.
And a fumble. A rough game for Bauer Sharp.
I apologize to Bauer Sharp for jinxing him. I think that's on me.
And my co-host Zach Nagy's been really high on him. But there's no reason to think Sloan wasn't calling plays tonight, right? That's what he was getting.
Jason, thank you for that big time for that super chat. All right.
But Mike, no reason to think Sloan wasn't calling plays tonight, right?
No.
He was calling plays. And by the way, I'm going to take heat for this. I thought Sloan dialed up a pretty good game. There was a lot of creativity that they did. That offensive line was not dominating Clemson, and they found a way how to manufacture a running game out of that. I thought they dialed up a pretty good game.
Hakeem Batiste, Delane is a real deal, and Halsey completes this defense. Perk looks like 2022 Perk at the star position, which is this is the best place he's been lined up. Now he gets to show NFL general managers that he can be a complete guy at linebacker. And because you've got all those additional pieces to work with, he's not the only guy that can get it done. PJ Woodland with a big sack. In fact,
nasty blitz. And look, I want to argue this for
who was quiet tonight on defense. Your edge rusher.
Yeah, but they were making their presence felt. I know there wasn't a ton of sacks or whatever, but they were still in his face, making him make flushed decisions. And look, absolutely. Here's the thing about Harold Perkins.
And by the way, that was by design.
In addition to him being in a better position, better role, be used better, I do think that is the truth. But also, it's kind of like being a running back when you have an offensive line versus you don't. Sometimes being able to control the front seven opens you up to make those plays. And I think that's a lot of what's going on with Harold Perkins. Your defensive line was dominant tonight against a good offensive line tonight. Tristan Lay, really good player out there, by the way. But once you're holding those blocks up and they're having to account for those guys, that really opens up things for guys like Harold Perkins, Whit Weeks to come in and make those plays.
Just to give y'all a little heads up, because we're going, you guys who have been with us on our post-game shows for years know that typically we go live, an hour and
90
15,
minutes,
hour and a half,
I'd say on average,
90 minutes after game in. We're going to try and do this. We're able to do this because it's a road game. We're not going to be able to do this next week. We're probably going to be in our similar slot because we're in the stadium.
Yeah.
But during this post game, when I get some of our stuff coming in from Brian Lazar and our video guy at the stadium, I'm going to get Brian Kelly up. Preston is going to take the reins, and I'll be halfway in and out. But all right, let's dive in. You take some questions, Preston, and put them up when you can.
Yeah, no problem. I'll address this one because it's a good comment. That was a touchdown, period. We're talking about Barry and Brown there. I mean, yeah, man. And you know what was funny? Des Bryant tweeted out, oh, man, they hoed LSU on that one. Yes, they did, because he had possession. He took 2 steps inbounds. He crossed the plane. Once you cross the play is over. So anyways, he had possession of the ball, and then somehow he falls out of bounds, and the ball barely skims the ground. Yeah, okay, whatever. Keep that. Let's see here. Any good comments that we have?
Yeah, and like Charles County Matter says, it was an SEC crew that did that. That was asinine.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. So the Bauer Sharp fumble on the first drive, I thought was questionable, although I do see why you do that. I thought there was a play on Trey'Dez Green where they really roughed him up and they didn't call it. I'm going to put that in questionable, not blatant. The Barry and Brown was pretty blatant. I thought the screen, the offensive pass interference they didn't call was – I'll have to look up the rules, but the missed holding on Whit Weeks, I think it was 4th down on their touchdown drive. Blatant.
Crying Belly, $4.99 super chat. I think defense is monster. AJ Halsey made an immediate impact. Pairing this up with great defense will make you 11-1. Great show. Leave a like, free my family. There you go. Thank you for that super chat. Michael Duyon with a super chat. Thank you. I'm late to chat. Did y'all talk about Caleb not in the running back rotation? He had one. Did he have one carry?
No, he was in the running back rotation. Yeah, he had one carry, and it was early, and it was not a good run. Harlem Barry also got one. Hey, how about Juwan Johnson being your number 2 back tonight?
Well, you could also say Xavier Thomas was your number 2 back because they both had 3 attempts.
By the way, the way they orchestrated Xavier Thomas into the running game, brilliant. They had him lined up wide, and they motioned him. They motioned Durham to more of a fullback type position, motioned Xavier Thomas behind him, and then snapped the ball real quick before the defense could realize exactly what was going on. Again, crafty, really creative play calling. They ran a bunch of interesting misdirection screens and just the kind of stuff we were complaining about not doing last year. That's exactly what Sloan dialed up this year.
Get some more press.
Yeah, you need me to take some comments? No problem. Yeah. No problem. Got you, man. Just let me know. Let's see here. Look. The Tiger Mark, the officiating was against us. It was horrible. Nothing better. Still adversity to come. Still win. Hey, look, you got to.
You guys let us know. You guys let us know in the chat. But I feel like LSU should have won this game by a couple of more scores.
I'm 100% behind you. If nothing else, 24-10 with the Barry and Brown. But guys, this very easily could have been a game, something like 27-0. Very possible. Carrot cake on
Mike. In fact, I might be at Capital City Grill tomorrow for brunch. 7-2. We'll talk about them a little bit later in the show.
But hey,
LSU to the SEC championship. It's on the table, ain't it? Big time.
Of course.
Where would you, after today, after this first weekend, who would have the highest odds now of being the SEC championship game, even though this wasn't an SEC game?
You know, if we're talking about the Vegas odds, I might still – I would want to see what Georgia's odds are. I didn't get to watch any of that game today because of everything that's going on. But, you know, Georgia, we know they're stacked with talent.
All right, let's see. We got a lot of folks in here tonight. Man, people are –
It's actually
LSU fans are happy. And by the way, we've got almost 1,700 people in here right now. And are we seeing any Notre Dame fans?
You know, it's always funny how when LSU has a big win, those guys don't like to show up. But, you know.
Mike, where's the new record? Are you talking about my new prediction? I led the show with it. I'm 11-1. That's my new prediction.
Yeah, I'm also going to adjust mine to 11-1. I do think it's possible to get tricked up somewhere. And look, guys, this team has still weaknesses to be exploited. That offensive line did not dominate tonight. They did good enough, but that still has, you know, I still have some confidence issues on that. The drops, the fumbles, those are concerning. You know, I think there's some things to be concerned about with this offense.
Go Tigers, call Buddy. You know, I try to tell Buddy that he can actually join us in a show like this from his cell phone, and he doesn't even want to attempt it, doesn't want to try it. I would love to be able to get him to just turn it on and sitting at his kitchen table or his recliner or wherever he's at and give us 5 minutes on a night like tonight. But we'll have him on Wednesday. Mike, didn't you have Clint? Yes, I did.
Me too.
I did. So did Preston. Who in the media? Buddy had LSU winning. I was told Ron Higgins had LSU winning. Who else had LSU winning tonight in the LSU media?
Well, let's put it like this. I don't think there was a single media member in the local media who picked LSU to go beyond 11-1. And of course, I polled 25 local media members, and not one picked LSU to go better than 10-2.
Yeah,
and of course, Clemson's. What's
a lot
that?
of people had LSU going 10-2, but they weren't picking them tonight.
Right, but they weren't picking them to win Clemson for the most part. Only a handful of people did. And I don't know that you can necessarily blame anybody. What about LSU's openers' performances the last, 5 years has inspired confidence that LSU would – this was the toughest one yet. This was the toughest opener of the 5 you've lost. It was more so about the lack of faith in the team to look disciplined and organized. And you might argue that there was some lack of discipline.
All right, let me ask you this.
This should have been a butt whooping tonight, and it wasn't. It was a close game.
All right. Before tonight's game of the consecutive opening losses, the Florida State team that was in New Orleans would have been considered the best team of the bunch that you lost to?
Yeah, well, that team might still.
Would you say that Clemson. Florida State team is better than this Clemson team?
I mean, it's tough.
And then you have to factor in it's not a neutral site.
We're talking about a 13-0 football team that should have been in the playoffs. I mean, it's a very good team, but my eye test tells me that Clemson will be about as good as that team.
Yeah. Well, after what Florida State did to Alabama today, I think they're going to have something to say about the ACC. We
have one Notre Dame fan in the chat. We haven't won a championship since the Reagan administration. You gotta love it.
The next question for that Notre Dame fan was, were you alive then?
Yeah. I wasn't. That's for sure.
Yes, he did. But I mainly was talking about local LSU media, that ones that actually go to practice and or cover the beat and don't miss.
Yep. Now, you know who else picked LSU to win it all was Lee Corso on his way out the door.
Yeah.
By the way, Lee Corso picked LSU to win this game tonight, picked LSU to win the national championship. He also picked Florida State to beat Bama, and he picked Ohio State. Guys, I don't know if Corso
What a way to go out. What a way for him to go out today. Isaiah Hancock, DBU is back. Like I said earlier, Delane, the game he played, I can't recall a time where I was shaking my head at Ashton Stamps. Again, had LSU lost this game somehow, there would have been no blame on LSU's defense. That you couldn't have asked them to do any more than they did. And Blake Baker's just deserves so much credit. And certainly Austin Thomas and that December to remember, all those guys that they went and got have panned out.
Mike, did you see we got a plethora of super chats in just now?
Yeah, go ahead and get them.
Yeah, I'll get them. Okay, 1 second here. I got to go to a new tab because, guys, the comments are actually coming in so fast tonight. It's actually a little hard to aim and hit them. It's like playing Call of Duty on the computer. You got to hit the moving target.
Oh, I need to get this one real fast. Raymond Scarborough Jr., I think he and I know we are. We're actually related. I know he's from the Point Capee area, if I'm right, Raymond. I really believe that might have been arguably the best defense we'll play all year. What do you guys think? It's going to be up there.
Look, I'm a believer. I'm a believer in Clemson, guys. I think Clemson's very good. I think Clemson will go either 10-2 or 11-1 and win the ACC. So, look, they showed a lot of talent, in my opinion, tonight. Look, the catches those receivers were making tonight, incredible. So I'm not going to bash on Clemson at all. I think that was a great team. You just dominated tonight.
Carl the Cat done one game at a time. The defense is back. Texas lost. Bama lost. What a great day. Thank you, Carl the Cat, for that super chat. Trucking at Casper coming in with another one. Tell Buddy I'm here Wednesday for my shirt. He'll get you one. And those shirts are really nice too, by the way.
Is that the we're taking receipts and we'll see at the national championship one?
Yeah, Dane Bergeron. Corsair is smarter than all the TigerBait staff. All you picked against LSU.
Yep.
That's
and by the way, I do want to give shout out to him for the super chat. He didn't leave the comment, but there's his comment. So good pull, Mike.
Yep. Thank you. I think Dane's actually in Clemson. Ebon the man comes in here and there. Says, "Go Tigers! LSU defense is finally back. They locked down Clemson 3 out of 4 quarters." Yeah, who had that? 8-4. Who had LSU going 8-4?
I don't know.
I had a hard time going there. The only way I could have seen 8-4 is if you could give me.
Let me tell you this: I definitely heard
Nussmeier was going to get hurt in September.
I definitely heard some people saying that kind of behind the scenes, like murmurs at practice from media guys. But I don't know that anybody came out publicly with that. I'm not aware. I don't know.
That's true. Joseph Fry, Clemson had no run game at all. Yeah, they're not in a good way there. Absolutely.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Look,
attorney Kenny Haines with a super chat. Thank you, Kenny. And of course, he is the one of our sponsors tonight's show. And so let's hear from Kenny real fast.
Kenny Haines is a proud 1989 graduate of LSU Law School with a passion for justice. Kenny stands out as the only lawyer in the state, board certified in both appellate practice and family law. Drawing from 34 years of trial experience, Kenny has navigated the most complex aspects of real people's lives. If you need help in Northwest Louisiana with a family issue, legal issue, or a highly skilled trial attorney, call Kenny 318-222-2100.
There you have it. Kenny Haines, the unofficial attorney of TigerBait.com, and he's been a sponsor of this post-game show from the very beginning and a great fan of TigerBait, great friend of TigerBait. And so we're glad to have him sponsoring us as always. Y'all do me a favor. We've been using my personal Twitter account, X account, as the place for TigerBait. Finally created just a standalone TigerBait X account, Twitter. Go give us a follow at TigerBaitCom, at TigerBaitCom. In fact, some of y'all might be watching this feed on Twitter. This is the first time tonight that I'm streaming it to that Twitter account at TigerBaitCom and my personal at Scarborough Mike. All right, because we're gonna have some unique stuff on that one that doesn't show up on my personal. Yeah.
He sure did, man. He was killer today. You know, I thought I was having a good day being right about everything because I felt real good. I took a lot of heat on hating on Arch Manning by saying he's a good, not great quarterback. I feel very good about that one tonight. I said I didn't believe in Bama this year, and Bama fans got a hold of that thanks to my friend Carter Bryant with an aggressive edit he put on Twitter. Felt very correct about that as well. Except where I picked LSU to lose. So I guess I can't be as right as Corso, but yeah, Corso with a legendary night. Went out with a bang. Good. Love what Corso did. He went with his heart today and let her rip. Is there an offense that can beat LSU defense in the conference? I mean, what does beat mean? Can they score more than 10 points? Probably. But I think you just went against one of the better offenses in the country. And I think by the end of the season, we'll see that Clemson is actually very, very powerful on offense. And we'll see. We'll see. You know, I'm not saying LSU is going to hold every opponent to 10 points or less this year, but I don't know exactly what you mean can beat this LSU defense. Can hang 40? I don't think anybody's hanging 40 on LSU this year, at least based on what we saw tonight.
There's going to be some games in there where you come in with your B game or your C+ game, and you're right. You have a tough time making it happen. Look, it's a lot of reason to be real excited about what the possibilities are for this LSU team, because all the components are there to have a very productive, very exciting season that is playoffs and possibly big outcomes. But it's the old adage, don't feel like you're going to peg every team that you saw in that first weekend for what they are this weekend is what they're going to be. The exciting thing, if you're an LSU fan, is because this team's going to get better. They've got to come out and play like that on the road in that environment with so many new pieces. only have 45 yards in penalties, get robbed of a touchdown, make a bonehead call at the end of the half when you probably should have taken some points or thrown it to the end zone and still had a timeout to get 3. Time running off the clock in that last minute like crazy. That's stuff you can clean up, right?
Yeah, there's a lot that I saw. The penalties, the drops, the fumbles, the blocking. I mean, there was a few plays where LSU just dialed it in blocking. One guy messes up and the whole thing just goes to absolute crap, man. So I think there's a lot that you're looking at this LSU offense tonight. They could clean it up. I still believe this offensive unit can be elite one day.
Dwayne D, how about Kyle Williams? That D-line stuff to run and got pressure up the middle. Absolutely, Kyle Williams. Jacoby and Guillory had a good game. Dominic McKinley, Bernard Gooden.
Oh, yeah. Whole D-line looked good.
You see him coaching them up on the sidelines. We saw that all through August camp. These defensive linemen are really taken to Coach Williams. And, I mean, he's not far removed from being an NFL player, a defensive lineman. So how good are they going to get? And if you're a defensive lineman out there, and of course, they got some great ones committed already. Lamar Brown was in Clemson for this one. Anderson from Carr and others. How can you not want to be an interior defensive lineman and get coached by that guy? I'd have recruits within earshot. Of course, a lot of them are at practice. They know. Yeah, Courtney Abraham, LSU wins and Bama gets cooked. Doesn't get any better. Y'all guys do me a favor. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the show, if you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook. And welcome to all of you who are watching us on Twitter as well. Yeah, 11-1, Rob Boudreaux. That's my prediction now. You like that?
No, I'm with you on that. I think LSU goes 11-1 or better.
Screen Kelly calls a timeout on 3rd and 11 just to run the ball after. I was about to freak out.
I didn't like that call. I had a lot of questions about that. And they ran a draw, which I understand a draw play on 3rd and long is a classic call, especially when you need about 5 or 6 yards to get in field goal range. That being said, to rely on that for 5 or 6 yards, you really needed points there. You really needed points, and you came up blank. I didn't like that call at all.
Yeah. Laguna Nay, LSU sucks and beat a mediocre Clemson team. Don't get too cocky. Yeah.
I mean, based on what?
I think LSU has a right to be cocky after tonight. Beg to differ.
You went on the road and got a true
win. I think
win.
LSU fans have a right to really enjoy this one. Some of these season opening losses have been soul crushing. You guys have the easiest offense to stop, screen, and run. Look, Nussmeier, as the weeks go by, that's going to get uncorked. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried. They did what they did tonight because of what they felt Clemson was going to do and what they were doing, and I think they probably were also, a lot of it was based on the fact that they thought the offensive line was going to have struggle a good bit. And man, I don't know what they're going to end up grading out tomorrow when they go in there and break down the film. But without watching it a second time, having not seen it yet, I mean, just off what you saw tonight, Preston, what letter grade would you give that offensive line?
C-.
Against a Clemson defensive front that's supposed to be the
okay. I mean, once you weigh in
unit on Clemson's team.
Once you weigh in how good Clemson's D-line, perhaps the grade goes up. But just based off of how the game played out, I mean, yeah, LSU's offensive line lost most of their battles tonight. I mean, Nussmeier had to roll out and improvise a number of times. The running game wasn't exactly consistent or there. So you want to talk about all these screens and all that jazz, right? Well, here's the thing about a screen, guys. it keeps your defense off its toes. Those guys will get in the dirt, white knuckling, just boom, beelining directly into you, bullying you, unless you make them think a little bit and react a little bit. And defensive linemen, when you call a screen in the middle of the field as a defensive lineman, you have to pump the brakes, look behind you, find where the guy's coming from. And that's what they made them do. And that's why you were able to run the ball 31 times for 108 yards. You kept them honest. So no, I don't think this screen game is something that you absolutely need. It's the bread and butter of your offense. I still think Nussmeier is going to have a good season passing the ball downfield. But tonight, against this defensive line, you had to do it to supplement your running game and even passing game a tad for pass blocking. So look, great calls but I think Sloan, ultimately, there were some things I had concerns with. I think he dialed up a good game.
Natal Vittori, go LSU from Italy. All right. How many sacks did Clemson have again? It was at 2 at one point. Did they get any more than that?
Let's see here. I'm pulling it right now. Sacks, they had 1 for 12 yards. Yeah, and that was a bonehead play on Nussmeier, by the way. Going back 12 yards and not throwing that ball away. Man, come on, Nuss. I guess what was going on in his head is he kept on thinking about how he would ruin close games last year with the interceptions. And to his credit, he didn't throw a pick tonight. But come on, Nuss, throw that one out of bounds.
Yeah, look, I think the national television audience that tuned into this one on ABC, I think they got everything that this game was supposed to be. It came down to the last few minutes, and Clemson had an opportunity to push the game into overtime if they didn't go for 2. Yeah. All right. I need to talk about Stroubes, everybody, one of our major sponsors, and it's one of the premier steakhouses in the state of Louisiana. Of course, they're located at 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. They pride themselves on providing a 5-star dining experience at a reasonable price. They feature a full menu of specialty meats, including USDA prime black Angus, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. And they've got something, if you're not interested in red meat, they've got the dry aged pork chop, the black truffle lobster pasta, redfish, duck Louisiana, and more. Book your reservation online tonight at Stroubes.com. And please let them know that TigerBait sent you in. And Alumni Hall, use the code TigerBait, all one word, and you're going to get 10% off at Alumni Hall. They've got the greatest LSU gear, a beautiful store in Perkins Row. They've got another new set of Nike shoes that came out this week that everybody wants. And look, Hall Pass rewards. For every $150 you spend, you're going to get $10 reward for future purchases. And there you go, Alumni Hall. Use the code TigerBait on every purchase you make, whether it's online or in the store. And they've got all the greatest stuff, the Nike gear, the new stuff that the coaches were wearing on the sideline tonight. Johnny O, Peter Millar, Southern Tide. That place is wall-to-wall LSU gear. If you can't find what you're looking for in there with an LSU logo on it, then nobody's got it. All right, let's see. Let's get into some more comments here. Yeah. Jeremy Franks, hey, Mike, let's laugh at Alabama fans. One of my where's my guy at Big Balls Kelly that always makes fun of me?
Big Stack Kelly is going by nowadays.
Yeah, one of my BFFs is somewhat engaged to an Alabama fan, and he was absolutely miserable tonight, and we were having some fun with him. I thought my TV was lagging on. I was having deja vu when we ran the screen 5 times in one drive.
It was working, man. They were cooking them up with that.
Yeah. And that's what they were doing tonight. They were taking what Clemson was giving them. And when you got a quarterback like Nussmeier with experience now, and he's seen it all, I mean, I like the way he ran the offense tonight. He didn't look I mean, was there any time during the game night where you thought he looked frazzled?
No, the
he
sack.
Looked in total command to me.
He did. And look, I mean, it wasn't his hottest game by any stretch of the imagination, but look at this. We're looking at a game he threw 28 for 38 complete, 230 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Complete command, a game manager at worst is what you would call him, but he also got robbed of a beautiful throw to Bear. I mean, that is an NFL dime, and he got robbed of that. So once you account for all that, if that goes his way, I mean, even on paper, that's a really good game. But this was a very talented front seven, a very talented defense. I'll take those numbers with your defense playing the way it was.
It's my understanding that the internet service in the Clemson area and in the stadium is downright awful. So I'm just now receiving Brian Kelly's postgame, and it's downloading now, and we'll have it up very shortly. It would make sense. From what I've seen of Clemson, some really good fans, but it sure seems like there's a lot of backwoods nature to everything that they do over there.
Nuss had his best game as a Tiger. He beat a top 5 team. He was a game manager and did what he had to do to win the game. What was Ole Miss rated when they beat Ole Miss? They were top 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I've gotten a kick out of, and I don't know if you've done it on your show, Preston? Everybody talking about the lack of wins for Brian Kelly against top 5 teams on the road. Who's supposed to beat top 5 teams on the road consistently?
Yeah. Nick Saban.
Right?
Kirby Smart.
And how often have they done it?
I don't know.
I'm not talking about neutral sites or
Nick
championship
Saban
games.
consistently was kicking ass on the road. I mean, I wouldn't be
but you're
surprised
talking about one of, and I'm not putting Kirby Smart in that category, but you're talking about the greatest of all time.
Yeah, no, right, exactly. That's the point I'm illustrating is the best current football coach and the best of all time. Those are the two that I'm naming as doing that. That's kind of the point I'm illustrating, Mike, is it's kind of a absurdly high bar.
Coach Ken, the quote of the year was that Saban can't save you by the Florida State quarterback.
Was that real?
Man.
I saw that, but I didn't have time to look into if it was real or not.
We're going to see what Florida State does. That 2-10 year last year for Florida State, that just made no sense to me. And if based on what we saw today, if that's what Florida State's going to be this year, I didn't immediately think last year that Norvell all of a sudden forgot how to be a good coach, or they wasn't a good coach. That was just crazy town. What took place there last year. So if they turn that around and go from 2-10 to 10-2 or whatever they end up being, good for them.
That Gus Malzahn offense, they looked tough, Mike. What's most impressive to me is not that they beat Bama. It wasn't fluky in any way, shape, or form. They bullied Alabama. Absolutely dominated Alabama. Just grown man football. The ways that we've seen Bama
What
do.
about Dari Noka? Was he going overboard today?
What'd he do?
Dari Noka, were you listening to his play-by-play coverage?
Mike, a lot of times I listen to these games on mute. I try to just watch the ball game. What was he saying?
Oh, he was just yelling into the microphone.
Yeah.
Every play was like the end of the world.
Yeah, trying to make a Gus Johnson imitation there. I was too busy enjoying Bama getting their butt.
Yeah, how Florida State was badass. They think that Auburn got rid of Manziel. So that's why you were correcting me on the pick on game day because they had the graphic wrong. It's because you don't have the audio on.
No. I had audio on game day. It's just a lot's going on, and sometimes I don't trust my ears, so I trust my eyes more. And I was like, well, the graphic's wrong. So yeah, no, they had Desmond Howard picking LSU, even though he picked Clemson. So I had to go back and listen to the audio. And yeah, no,
how about that, Doyle? Did Ashton Stamps play? He sure did. And the fact that you are asking if he played tonight tells you that he had a good game, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's exactly what you want from him too.
Huey Lipsy, hey Mike, you knew this team defense was going to be good. Yeah, it was. How good? I mean, look, if you look like this today and you stay healthy, how good are they going to be at the end of September, October, November?
Well, they're learning how to play together.
And they've got depth. They got guys they can rotate in. I mean, I saw Jacoby and Guillory in the hallway Thursday afternoon. They had just come in, and I told him this in the hallway. I said, man, I just knew when you got hurt that you were going to probably put on some bad weight. And I couldn't believe what he looked like because he was walking around with just compression shorts on. And I'm like, he stayed in shape. He had a good night tonight. So they've got guys like him that are rotating in. And in fact, I need to go look at the player participation and see how many plays he played because I was predicting all offseason that he'd probably be a a dozen to 15 play guy. I wonder if he hit that mark or not.
One thing I want to point out from doing player interviews all fall camp, Mike, every one of these guys mentioned how team chemistry was just so tight with this team. And it did it in ways that just made sense, as authentic, not just beating on their chest, like, coach talk, so to speak. Talking about paintball trips and Nussmeier taking the offensive line out to walk-ons to eat, just a lot of stuff. And the reason why I read more into that than I probably should have most of the time, I just kind of overlooked that kind of talk. You got 40 plus new players on this team. I believe it's like 44 new faces on this team. So the fact that these guys have put that much emphasis and belief into, knotting tight knots with one another, and they seem to play pretty well together on the field. They aren't supposed to be playing well together on the field. There's 44 new football players on this team. So I'm just saying that bodes well because their chemistry should continue to improve.
Yeah. Take some more. Will you hold on? I saw one in there.
Yeah.
I need to get.
No. Let's take this comment.
No. There's one I need to get. There's one I need to get.
Just a good comment.
It was Testator, not Darinoka. I get those guys mixed up all the time.
Joe Testator.
It was Testator. Man, he was crazy. Thanks, Andy, for that. But there was another one I need to get to. This one. Why is it me talking about Chris Hilton every preseason? But
yeah,
the reason why the excitement with Chris Hilton, particularly this offseason, was because part of the reason LSU struggled last year was they lacked a deep threat. And what you saw him do against Oklahoma in the bowl game, and he got healthy, was big. And so for him to not be a factor tonight, to me, is kind of, if you want to say if there was a letdown or a negative, that might be it. You still get the win. But I expect him to have a big season.
Concerning, Mike. Concerning. He had a fumble. He had one catch and he fumbled the ball. The good news is you have a ton of receivers, and that kind of is, I think that's going to be the story of this season, is you have a ton of receivers that you're rotating in and out, and certain guys are just going to get the hot hand on certain nights. And you also have a bunch of tight ends you're trying to get the ball tonight. Tre'Davious Green is very obviously a threat. By the way, one of the reasons I say Joe Sloan actually dialed up a good game, that touchdown to Tre'Davious Green was a work of art. Quads right. You've got all the focus over there, and you're lining up Tre'Davious Green, the 6'7" tight end, out wide on the left side of the field. You've got one corner matched up man on man on an island, and you just throw it up to the 6'7" tight end. Beautiful artwork. Look, love what Joe Sloan did, because on that play call, either you're going to get a numbers advantage with the four guys outright, or you're gonna get Tre'Davious on your one-on-one, and they took exactly what they wanted. Beautiful play call.
Yeah, absolutely. Preston, take some more comments, will you?
Yeah, no problem. Let's see here. M. Cavill says he's not worried about Hilton. He'll come around. That's more or less what I'm touching on here. Is I think it's going to be a little rotational. That being said, the habit of Chris Hilton to just show off in these bowl games, look great in practice. Guys, all practice, he was eating DJ Pickett's lunch all fall camp. So to see this in game one is a little concerning just because of that history. But as a football guy and knowing how things rotate and change out, not super, super concerned. Let's see here. Keith Joseph says need to throw the ball more to Tre'Davious. Only 2 times he's a receiver. Well, they threw the ball to him 4 times, I think. Let's see here. Receiving Tre'Davious Green. Maybe he had 2 catches, and that's what you're talking about here. Yeah, he had 2 catches, but they threw the ball to him 3 more times outside of that. 2 other times were PI calls. And I thought the first one was very questionable. Maybe should have been PI. We'll see. It could have been a chippy call, but my point in pointing that out is that's not by coincidence. That's by design. Okay. They were scared of what he did, and they said, look, this guy's open and it's a big play. Hack a shack, man. I mean, do not let he will be, they are scared of Tre'Davious Green. He is a threat, and we saw why tonight. We saw why. I do think you need to try to feed him the ball a little bit more, but there's a lot of mouths to feed. I mean, look at Barry and Brown, what he did tonight. He looked great. Jawan Johnson brought something. You got to get Caden Durham the ball. Bauer Sharp, Xavier Thomas, he even looked good. I mean, Chris Hilton's a guy we still need to feed. I mean, there's a lot of talented mouths to feed on this offense, and that's a good thing. I think between the refs being just – guys, there was a point in this game where I'm looking at the refs. I'm saying this is 2018 Texas A&M bad. Now, it didn't end up being that bad. They kind of cleaned up at the end of the game, but I still think this is among one of the more questionable games I've ever seen from an officiating standpoint. Of course, head ref from Lafayette, Louisiana. A lot of people want to point to that. We'll see. But anyways, I think you need to get to them, and right now your problem is too many mouths to feed. Mike, are you giving Flint a little credit? LOL. That's from Mike Duyon. Flint. What are we talking about, Flint?
Oh, talking about Jake Flint, the strength and conditioning coach.
Okay.
Everybody gets credit tonight.
Well, maybe I would like to see him get to a little bit more work on that offensive line.
Look, this team absolutely is a national championship contender. I'm sorry. And for the people who are watching, who are just tuning in, non-fans of LSU, that maybe they're a fan of a different team. If you don't believe that, then you don't know football. I'm sorry. I think LSU has everything that you need to win a national championship. And this offensive line is going to get better each week.
And that's the thing you're looking to really most improve, because if this offensive line starts becoming above average or even good, guys, watch out. This team's got everything. I mean, there's really not a weakness to the team if you can iron that one out. I think that was a major glaring gap for the team tonight, and they still pulled off a win.
You got Florida at home in 2 weeks. Then you got to go on the road to Ole Miss. If they come out of September 5-0, it's all there.
Oh yeah. Look, I would argue 10-2 would disappoint me at this point. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but I will say this: buckle up, guys. I think this is going to be a special and fun season. Now that you got the monkey off your back of the opener, and it was a big one, buckle up.
I agree.
You want me to take this one, Mike? Clemson complaining about the refs is priceless. And look, I thought those students throwing junk on the field after a very blatant defensive pass interference where the jersey is getting held. I can't remember the player who was holding the player getting held for LSU, but anyways, it was blatantly obvious. And maybe Xavier Thomas is who I want to say. Anyways, correct me if somebody remembers who, but it was like 3 or 4 seconds of being held on his jersey. Even as he's making the grab, the jersey's still being tugged back with his left hand. They're throwing trash on the field. The irony of that and that was right after the Baye and Brown turnaround. Like, it was just so blatantly obvious. Maybe they didn't put that one on the mega board and people didn't see how bad of a blown call that was by the refs. But the irony was, like you said.
You guys in the chat, I'm seeing in my Twitter feed, and I can't watch it, Feinbaum going on air saying something. But, boy, he's got some answering to do, doesn't he? The whole Arch Manning ridiculousness.
He said
Arch was going to beat LSU like a drum and whatever else he had to say it.
He said Arch is the most complete player he's seen since Tim Tebow in the SEC. And he looked at Tim Tebow while he's saying that, meaning as a runner, passer, and all that jazz. Look, you can make as many excuses as you want for Arch Manning, but at this, the thing is, we're responding to the overhype of Arch Manning. We're not responding to Arch Manning as a player. I've been saying he's a good, not great player. He's a top 12 quarterback for his class, whatever, 4-star guy. Mike's probably called him a 3-star a time or two. Anyways, guys, all those are applicable if we're talking about a highly rated 4-star guy who's supposed to just be a good player. Guys, they've been deeming him the messiah of football. They've been saying the Saints are going to tank so they can draft him. All that hype. You don't get first game jitters excuses when you're hyped to that level as a generational talent. Get out of here.
Again, look, I like the fact that he didn't look like a world beater this morning. I'm glad Ohio State won, but it's not that it's a hate at Arch Manning. He didn't create this hype. This hype
He
was
didn't do any
created
of it.
by everybody.
He's a good
All
kid.
right? It started with New Orleans media. It started with recruiting analysts on networks, and some of them have no business rating players. I question if they ever saw him play in the playoffs or actually watched him. Now that's not, look, he can get better. All right. This is his first game on the road at Ohio State. You know, depending on what list you look at, if LSU is the number one most hostile environment, Ohio State's always in the top 3. All right. So I'm not going to say that the story is written on Arch Manning, but if you're going to come out and say that he's the best quarterback since Tim Tebow, he better come out and look like it today. You just shouldn't say those kind of things. That's not his fault. That's Paul Feinbaum's fault. And everybody else who's been saying similar ridiculous things.
People just lost their flipping mind talking about Arch Manning. I mean, my God. And like I say, like you're saying, it wasn't Arch. Arch has just shown up to work and done what he could. He also did miss open receivers 5 yards down the field. I mean, a lot of really open, easy passes he should have made today.
Final score should have been 24. I agree. I think LSU should have won this game by a couple of more scores.
Well, and look, let's look at this.
And the other one was the refs.
I'm about to say, I think 27-3 is actually not unfair to say that's what LSU should have won by. If LSU kicks that field goal before the half, I don't know what it is with BK and being allergic to points in openers, but take the points right before half. You'd be in good position. You would have comfortably cruised to the win. The Barry and Brown nonsense, possibly that touchdown drive for Clemson with 2 blatant calls that I felt. I mean, yes, the LSU dominated this game more so than the scoreboard suggests. I'm just happy that for once LSU comes out on top, and despite those going against LSU.
All right, guys. Here we go. Dr. John Silly Butler. Tigers won a tough one on the road and survived the refs. Thank Dr. Butler's. Thank you for that. And of course, Dr. Butler is both an LSU and a Texas guy. And Arch Manning went to Ohio State on game day for Corso's final send-off. He wasn't going to win. Always a good day when Bama loses. JTL, Chris Hilton back to doing Chris Hilton stuff. Shaking my head. I hope that's not the case. Super chat. Navy Doc 17. Thank you for that. As a longtime LSU fan, I loved how much we upgraded, but I still worry about Kelly. His play calling in the fourth showed weakness. As a former coach, you go for the killer score. Go LSU. Well, when you were deep in your own territory and running the ball and just really trying to set up a deep punt and the way that defense was performing, I was okay with it. Particularly when Blake Baker wasn't in prevent and was really sending the pressure. I was a lot more confident there than I was in all the years that we saw Les Miles put games on the line in a similar way.
I disagree. I'm with Navy Doc. I think they should have gone for the jugular there. They called it a little too conservative for my
taste. You talking about when they gave them one more chance? You would have thrown the ball deep, thrown the ball around?
I don't know about throw it deep, but I would have gotten a little more vertical. I think that's
I would not.
That's a situation where I think you need to go offense. You need to play offense. You don't need to dial it up and punt the ball back to them at give them the ball at the 30-yard line.
I don't know. I wouldn't have thrown it.
Yeah,
I'm good with it.
I got a good comment.
Of course, I know what the results are, so I'm able to say that.
Yeah, it's a little hindsighty, but no, I agree with him. But I think that by dialing it in and playing it conservative, that's how you set yourself up to fail in football games. And look, I think last year's defense, LSU does lose this game tonight, by the way, because Clemson had a lot of chances to march down the field and take it, and they didn't do it because this defense was incredible.
Todd, with that 8.5 on Vegas, well, that's what they do. But in this age of transfer portal and NIL, and how much whether it's media at SEC media days, picking first team all SEC and second team all SEC, I made a prediction at SEC media days that a third of the players that they had on first and second team won't be there in December when the actual production is measured and those teams are charted. I mean, it's really hard to know.
By the way, not a team in the SEC got higher than 9.5. And obviously somebody's going to win 10 games in the SEC.
Right, JB, with a $27 super chat. Thank you for that. Y'all, my new post-game hangout. Appreciate you both. 17 plus 10. 17 to 10.
17. The score of the game. That's the super chat. $27. Yes.
I was looking at the dollar amount. I said, what was the 27? Now, okay.
That's good. I like that. Man, I wish we had more clever donation amounts like that. I appreciate you for watching from Chicago, it looks like. So that's pretty cool. We have a presence. Maybe that's secretly T-Bob Abear, who just moved.
A lot of alumni in the Chicago area. I know they got a big Chicago alumni group up there.
Yeah, probably just a good job market up there or something like that. Dakota Civello with a good comment here. Where do y'all think LSU will be ranked after this? I think we can safely say top 5. Notre Dame plays Miami tomorrow. I want to see how that game falls out. Obviously, Ohio State will be there. I think some people will put LSU above Ohio State. Some won't. That's a big jump from, 3 from 9. So probably LSU will be below them. But, then there's Penn State, who looked good against Nevada. Does LSU jump them? Georgia took care of business. I would say top 5, and we'll just see how the voters feel. But there's certain people who take a lot of authority in ranking you based on what you've accomplished and not preseason hype. And there's some guys who just say, I still think that team's better.
All right, Dakota, before you go, or please reply, are you the son of Kevin or Tracy Civello, my former classmates? If so, let me know down below. And please let them know that we have a 40-year reunion coming up October 4th. Been trying to reach them. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Leaving Clemson now. Traffic is horrible. Take care. And
can't be worse than LSU, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Report back on that. Is it worse than like LSU after a big game against Bama or something like that?
Yeah. Gary Williams, Preston, please let last year in 2019 go. Give this team a chance. I said that on Jacques Talk the other day with Jacques Doucet. I said, how long are we going to unfairly compare every future LSU team to 2019?
I wonder what he's talking about by let these things go. That's what you talking about, the column I wrote on Cam Newton. Just let me know exactly what you mean by that, and I'll gladly address that.
Jeremy Franks, Blake Baker's one L of DC. I hope BK can keep an LSU. I was thinking earlier today, and during the game, I don't know how many years BK. I don't think BK goes the full contract. I just don't. I think if he wins a national championship somehow, I think he would be soon retired after that.
That's a big buyout. If he wins a natty, it's 100% guaranteed, right? That's a lot of money to leave on the table, my friend.
With the money you've got to spend on players and NIL now, most athletic directors, I think, if you've got a successful program, are going to hire from within. And my guy would be Blake Baker.
Interesting. Well, I mean, he's done a great job. There's no doubt about it. And players love him. He's high energy.
I think he's a future head coach. I don't know if it's going to be. Yeah, there you go, Kevin. Please tell Kevin we got a 4th reunion. His high school. We got to have him there. He's never been to one. All right. Mike yeah, he was. Aaron Allgood. Sure did.
You know who else was there? Someone asked this comment earlier. I can't find it because now it's way up there. They asked about an update on Colton Nussmeier. And I got an interview with him late this week. He was at the game, by the way. He went with his dad, and he had his LSU football shirt on, although supporting his brother, not necessarily there for recruiting. But I think LSU's in good shape with Colton. He's very reserved and calculated with his answers. I'll have that story up early this week. Of course, I got the interview late and with game day, didn't get to put it together. But I think LSU's in good shape, but he's just got a lot of time. He might be a little closer to pulling the trigger than I might have expected, given he's a 27 kid.
Leviathan, from a neutral view of the LSU game, 2 teams that have good defenses or bad offenses. Clemson's were more overrated than Arch Manning. LSU may only be at 6. It depends on how far they drop Texas.
I would assume Texas is going to drop like
Texas
a rock.
Is not going to be ahead of LSU.
There's no way. You scored 7 points. You look terrible.
Georgia did not look like trash. I saw A&M put a big number on UTSA.
Bama's going to drop. If Notre Dame loses tomorrow, they're going to drop. Although LSU's slightly ahead of Miami. Miami would have to put a butt whooping to leapfrog LSU. And frankly, I think Notre Dame's going to have to win convincingly to stay above LSU as well.
Music. Auburn looked good. I didn't get to watch any of them. Did you get a glance of them?
No, man. There was too many big games going on, especially for that Alabama game coming down to the wire.
That's a question that I had. I was on with Sikkim Sports, 365 Sports yesterday, national show, and they were asking me of that second tier SEC schools, which one could be the one team that might likely break through.
You know what? I was thinking they played yesterday. Yes, I watched the Auburn game. Yeah, Sawyer Robertson put up 400 plus yards. But yeah, no, that offense for Auburn, they have opened up things a lot. I was thinking about today on the game, and I was just like, I can't remember Auburn playing today. It was yesterday.
Who's a second tier SEC school as far as coming in? I want to say second tier teams that haven't been talked about being major that could bust through.
Well, let's put it like this.
Is it Missouri? Is it South Carolina? Is it Texas A&M? Is it
Carolina?
Auburn?
South Carolina is the one that I think a lot of people.
I think Texas A&M might have a better season than people think.
They've got talent. I just, I wonder how good Marshall Reed can be through an entire season. We'll see.
We might see LSU versus Oklahoma in the SEC championship or South Carolina. That's going to be a hell of a road trip. Norman's going to be a big game, and LSU's never been there. Ought to be nice weather. I think that's going to be a high demand ticket for LSU folks.
Imagine playing Oklahoma back-to-back weeks. That'd be something, huh? Oklahoma, look, they did their thing. What's the quarterback's name? The transfer kid, John Mateer, came in. They did take care of Illinois State 35-3 today. Before we declare Oklahoma as SEC finalist, I guess is the term, I'd like to see them do a little bit more. But look, best believe going to Norman, Oklahoma, that's the other loss I picked for LSU. That's going to be tricky.
Yeah. All right, everybody. I need to talk about Dykes Electric, the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. No matter how big or small your electrical needs might be, Dykes is wired for success. You need a brand new 10-story office building, they can wire that. A 200,000 square foot warehouse that you need built, they can wire that. Expanding your existing commercial building, they can wire that. Changing out a breaker, whole electrical panel, just a receptacle, upgrading the old light in your home or office, they can wire that. Give them a call today at that number you see on your screen, 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project. Make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. A great locally owned Baton Rouge company, huge LSU fans, and absolutely a fantastic company, Louisiana based, and let them earn your business. They do incredible work. They're licensed, bonded, insured, and they do it the right way over at Dykes Electric. All right.
And I'll add one to you there. If you're looking to wire a new TigerBait studio, go to Dykes Electrical, because they wired this office that I'm sitting in right now. They also wired my outdoor TV setup for me, so I get to watch some games outside today. Good work, man. They did some good work. Good quality craftsmen there at Dykes, man. They'll take care of you.
Absolutely. Ronald Tolar, handoff 2 yards and punt for the entire first half. Do you guys think going to Oklahoma would be a tougher game than tonight at Clemson?
No. I'm
not going to say that, but it's going to be, I think it's going to mean a whole lot.
It's tricky. And look, let's put it like this. You'll be in your grind. That's your final game of the season. Let me tell you how much emphasis and effort was on winning this Clemson game. The 1-0 shirts, the Clemson highlights playing during practice, them running down the hill playing on the big video. There was this particular emphasis to win this opener. You can't do that every single game of the year. Make, 6 months of buildup.
What's the chance now that the Tigers can go undefeated? Florida's my only worry. Bama has a quarterback problems, and OU is just scared of the Tigers. What do you think? Look, I'm after what happened with Florida last year. It's a home game, a big home game. I think the crowd's going to be on fire. I have a hard time thinking. I like LSU's defensive. After seeing LSU's defense tonight, I don't see Florida beating LSU. I think you might be more worried. I might be more worried about going and playing in Oxford than Florida at home. I just don't see LSU. I don't see LSU losing a home game this season.
LSU's tough to beat at home. And look, man, here's the thing. LSU has a very tough schedule, but if you were to take me one by one game right now and ask me if LSU's playing tomorrow, any of the 11 remaining teams, I'm taking LSU. If it's just a game by game basis. That being said, it's tough to win every one of these every time. We're talking Florida at home, Ole Miss on the road, South Carolina at home, Texas A&M at home, at Alabama, and at Oklahoma. Those are going to be tough games. To go undefeated, doesn't matter how good your football team is. To go undefeated on those teams, that would be special. I mean, not even 2003 LSU, as good as that team, won every single game. So, and that's the thing. You don't have to win every single game. You can trip up, particularly with this new playoff format. But it's a tough schedule, but I think LSU's better than every team on their schedule. I honestly do.
I don't disagree. I mean, is there any team that we've seen so far that's left on the schedule that you would say that about? But you also have to, don't jump to crazy conclusions in week one. But this game to me was the huge barometer. It was kind of the big hang up, and to get past this one, I think the way the program is going to, everybody in that program, the way they walk up and down those hallways next week is going to be a little bit different. And I think the fan base has a different mindset. What did this game tonight do to the mindset of the hardcore LSU football fan? It changes everything. So,
look, man,
I think all the national talking heads are going to be talking way differently about LSU next week.
I told y'all that I was tempering expectations coming into this game. Now that you've won this game, look, man, keep the overreaction stuff to yourself. LSU just beat a top 5 team on the road. LSU, this has been the boogaboo for this team. Pump the gas, man. Hit that gas pedal. Go full speed ahead. I call it an overreaction if you want. I'm buying the hype. I'm drinking the tea, whatever it is. Drinking the Kool-Aid.
I believe Brian Kelly's probably he likes wine. He's having a nice glass of wine or 2 or 3 right now. Mike, did you hear that Northwestern didn't let Tulane wear? Yeah, to honor Katrina victims. Why would you do something like that? And by the way, I will say that those green uniforms that Tulane wore, I thought those were good-looking uniforms. I've always liked Tulane's color scheme. Anyways.
If that's true, that's my first hearing of this.
No, it's absolutely true.
That is trashy, and you got what was coming to you if that's true. You deserve to get butt whooped. And by the way, Tulane's going to be a very good team this year.
And that's it. Those green jerseys that Tulane ended up wearing were pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
Leviathan, I'm watching ESPN talk about LSU right now, and they aren't talking with any enthusiasm. I'd like to know who's on there, who's on TV. If it's Scott Van Pelt, I have a hard time believing he's not.
I have no idea how you could not be enthusiastic. First off, you got to win over a top 5 team on the road like that. And Clemson was making plays, y'all. Look, Klubnik was under duress all night long. Those receivers still were making some insane catches.
And frankly, let's tell it how it is about ESPN. The caliber of the staffers, the caliber of the people who sit on that desk, the caliber of the people who are on those shows as guests, as hosts, as co-hosts, compared to what it was 25 years ago, the lack of talent, the drop in caliber of talent is off the charts. So in that regard, I don't give 2 shits what those people have to say or not say.
I'm more or less with you on that. I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing. LSU wins this game. And frankly, it should have been a blowout. It should have been a lot worse. Every single score that Clemson got was assisted by questionable officiating. And you took one blatant call away from LSU. I mean, come on. This should have been a comfortable LSU win. And instead, we're left with a close game and LSU still wins. You know how many times you can talk about 3 scores going against your team because of officiating calls? And then your coach shooting yourself in the foot, taking 3 points off the board by yourself. So all that going wrong, and you still win the game on the road against the top 5. That never happens, guys. Look, ESPN don't know ball, y'all.
Dino Davis, the Hessian Bingle. Been following you guys since I lived in Beantown. Now I live in Red Stick and continue to enjoy your podcast. Like a fine wine, it gets better with age. Man, thank you for those kind words.
Beantown. Where's Beantown, Mike?
That's Boston.
Oh, since he lived in Beantown. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And of course the Patriots. I thought he was saying you lived in Beantown. Okay, I blah.
Clemson is 0-4 against SEC teams the last 2 years. How you like that? Let's hear what Feinbaum says. He's no fan. I tell you what, if we wouldn't get hit with a copyright, I'd play some of the audio of what he had to say. You get dinged for a copyright if you play any of that stuff. We had a touchdown stolen plus 3 we left on the table, not counting other questionable calls, says Music. That's true.
A lot of feline phallic war chants going tonight, Mike.
Yeah.
Let them roar, is what I say.
Music. Brique is drinking a nice rosé. I know Feinbaum kind of talked about the Netflix show and his full walls of wine behind those glass cases. That's some. He's a hardcore wine drinker, that's for sure. I don't know if he's all Cabernet or what, but he likes his wine, that's for sure. No, I'm done.
A lot of trash talk going on in the chat tonight, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, Leviathan's got in enough tonight. Mike, do you think the offensive line play improves? I do. Man, when Tyree Adams went out and DJ Chester had to fill in for him on those couple of plays, it wasn't that bad.
I thought so, Mike. I thought DJ Chester looked awful. In fact, my comment was Tyree Adams' health is going to be key to this team because Chester got whooped on the Harlem Berry run. He let a backside guy come after. Rough night for DJ Chester. I think you got to keep this offensive line healthy, man. I don't know that you have the depth to survive guys getting hurt.
I think you do. How long before Carius Kern is brought along?
Well, and that should be good. He should improve too.
Is he a mid-season addition that, and then you get to really move some guys around? I think there's still some scenarios to play on that offensive line.
Then you have to worry about the other kid, the young kid, the freshman with the broken foot right now.
Solomon Thomas.
He should come. Yeah, Solomon Thomas. He should be back. He was looking really good before he broke his foot. He should be back around week 4 or 5.
Michael Gidger, I'm not talking with anger. We just beat a playoff team. Be honest with yourself. Clemson ain't good when they play anyone that's not a JUCO team.
I mean, guys, they made the playoffs last year. They won the ACC last year. And we're talking about a football team that brought most of its returning production back.
And almost won in the playoffs.
Yeah, almost won in the playoffs. I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and hate on Clemson. I mean, Clemson did what it did. I think what it was is LSU was just – Clemson's a great team, good team, and LSU was just better tonight. I think that's what it was about. Did you see Clemson?
There's absolutely no reason to temper the enthusiasm of this win for LSU tonight. So anybody who's going to do this kind of crap, it's not going to work.
Where were the plays you saw tonight where Clemson was playing poorly and LSU just exploited them.
I will say one thing: they're going to have problems. The fact that they don't have a good running back or two.
Yeah, but even that guy at times, he was tough, man. He got some tough yards, but I mean, I think that's more so LSU's dominant front seven. But yes, no, that wide receiver converted to running
I
back.
think they probably should go to their tight end more than they did.
Well,
it worries me, Mike, that you are high on the Tigers. Haines.
Just wait till next year.
I think there's a reason to be excited for this team. I've been saying it all season, even though I predicted 9-3 before tonight.
I'm trying to think the last time.
I'm going to say it again. It's 11-1.
Look, sky's the limit, baby. That's where I'm at. But buckle in for a special season.
Yeah. All right. And
Mike, was 2019 the last team for LSU you were really high on?
Yeah.
I think so.
And wouldn't that be the right?
Well, you know, I mean, they've had some moments since then, but yes, correct. That's the last team you should have been high on. I mean, they won 10 games twice.
I mean, Jaden Daniels' Heisman year, even though it wasn't a team that you knew because of the defense was so putrid, it was still a fun season.
Yeah.
It was a fun season. But
I'm not going to lie. I was high on that team.
All right, let's talk about Genesis of Lafayette and what a deal they're offering there. You see it on the screen, the Genesis Signature Event, 2025 Genesis GV80, 2.99 APR for 60 months or 3.99 APR for 72 months. And you've got to do yourself a favor. Get over to Genesis of Lafayette, the premier luxury dealership, offering the finest cars and SUVs in the region, coupled with the best service anywhere. Genesis of Lafayette has a huge inventory of new and certified pre-owned Genesis vehicles. So for a truly first-class automotive experience, it's Genesis of Lafayette, 6600 Johnson Street. And again, there's a reason why they sell more Genesis vehicles in the state of Louisiana. It's not New Orleans. It's not Baton Rouge. It's in Lafayette. And it's because they make great deals. They go the extra mile. They're going to go 3 states over and find the right color combination you're looking for. Jaron Guidry, the sales manager, huge LSU fans. Give them a call. Set up a test drive, 877-856-2961. It's worth your while to make a trip to Lafayette. And in fact, I know there's people who didn't even go to the dealership. They worked the deal over the phone, and the car was delivered to their driveway. That's the type of service that they have at Genesis of Lafayette. All right, let's get some more comments in here. Dr. Butler says Clemson was at home and lost to the Tigers. It was a great day in college football. LSU won, Alabama lost, and Texas lost. Don Wheat. And
Scott super chat here from P. Scott. Does the LSU keep Baker if the defense is elite this year? And I mean, the answer to that's the same as any coordinator ripping off a good year, guys. I mean, if some major program offers him a head coaching job, he's probably gone. But we'll have to see if that actually comes to fruition or not.
He's got a bright future. He's young and energetic. Everybody saw the clip of him running around at practice and juking one of the LSU players, and
yeah,
he's still got it. But one of the advantages LSU has is his wife's a Louisiana girl and an LSU grad, and he loves it here. So I don't know anybody ever talks about coaches in waiting. But if LSU, if it was a continuation where the LSU program was on solid footing and BK were to retire in 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it ends up being, I think Baker would be my guy. If you said, who would you promote from within?
No doubt on that.
Chucky and Mike, I had to drop it. You may have covered this. Why Kelly didn't take the field goal with 15 seconds left? I think he should have.
Allergy. It's a point allergy.
And how many times has he done that since he's been here?
I mean, I can't think of an opener he didn't do it in and failed.
Twice in previous openers?
I think 3 out of 4 maybe. I can't remember the second Florida State, but I do remember certainly, 2 other times other than this, and it's just crazy. But here's the deal, man. let's flip that side of the coin and say going for it was the right decision. You can't get 2 yards in 2 plays. Really? Come on, guys. Come on. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not high on the offensive line right now, because they should have gotten a better push there.
Preston, go ahead and run some more comments, will you?
Yeah. Hey, look who's here. Zach Nagy in the comments. Dang, you guys have been live for a while. That's right, Zach. Well, look, man.
We got 2,600 people in here.
You throw a monkey off your back like that, and that's what's going to happen. And we got a huge show cooking tonight. Oh yeah, we're going to go live for a while here. We're going to celebrate in this one, man, because this losing streak of openers, I liken it to that Alabama losing streak where LSU lost 8 straight, although this is a distant second in terms of losing streaks for LSU and the pain and all that jazz associated with it. This feels a little bit like that. About maybe 1/3 is satisfying as getting the monkey off your back and beating Bama in 2019. Let's see here.
Zach, I sent you the link to join us. If you're done with your work, if you want to pop in for
pop in, bro.
5 minutes. If you want to pop in, check your Twitter DM. I just sent it to you.
And look, hold up. I look, I'm not going to harass him if he comes on here. But boy, his Bauer Sharp agenda didn't look great tonight. Bauer Sharp looked pretty dull.
He's not the only one. My Bauer Sharp agenda.
Yeah. I mean, look, and here's the thing. Bauer Sharp looked clean and crisp all practice long. It's just today. And I don't think that holds up, by the way. I don't think he's going to have fumbles and drops and all that stuff all season long. I just think it's a one-game thing, but rough game for Bauer Sharp, man. LSU's defense might even be top 10 or top 5 this year. And look, if it's not top 5, it's simply because LSU played a very difficult schedule and someone was able to get them off kilter a little bit. So I think LSU's got – look, my quote-unquote hot take coming into this season was I think this will be LSU's best defense since 2019, and that's looking like lukewarm at this point.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I still don't trust Joe Sloan. Running back game sucks, Doug Nose says.
Must be an Aggie fan. Oh, no, it's not an Aggie. It's someone making fun of the Aggies because Jimbo Fisher looks in the mirror and sees Kevin Sumlin. Look, I respect that, but again, I'm going to give Joe Sloan his praise tonight because he dialed up some creative, interesting plays that were successful, and I thought successfully got Clemson off kilter. I think one thing we're overlooking here in the game that Sloan called is his offensive line got manhandled. His offensive line got their junk pushed in, and he still was able to dial up a winning game plan and one where they should have put up more points than they did. I'll get on board with giving Joe Sloan a C+, and there's room to improve in the play calling, but I don't think he gets an F for tonight. We'll see though. Randy Davis with another comment I'm going to softly disagree with. Nuss needs to get it together. I think Nuss was in complete command tonight. Was there any point you watching this game where you felt like Nuss was a liability out there? No. He had a solid game manager game, and I think that was what they wanted to dial up. They didn't want to put too much pressure on him, and that's what happened. I also thought he had that throw to Barry and Brown would have been among the most, probably top 10 most beautiful throws since Joe Burrow we've seen at LSU. And they just called it back. I thought that was a very clean catch and a touchdown pass, and it was beautiful, and they took that away. So it's always hard when they take away your best pass like that. Let's see here. Bayou Boogie, 4-2 called, 4th and 2, called a timeout and still don't get a good play call. Take the points on the road. Man, that's 100% there. Zach, what's going on, buddy?
How's it going, guys? How's it going?
All right, Zach, you were at 9-3 too, weren't you?
I was.
All right, so are you going to 11-1 like I am, or are you going to go to 10-2?
I don't think I can go to 11-1 just yet. There's still some kinks that I need to see get worked out. But, man, just what a hell of a day. I mean, it's hard to not sit back and just really impressed with this team. They gave up, one sack on the day. And this was truly when we were kind of sitting back and thinking they would just get keep it PG, their stuff kind of dug in. So for me, man, it's hard to not be excited about what this team's doing. Obviously, the O-line really, really held it together. But I got to say with 10-2 right now, LSU could drop one that they might not need to that we wouldn't be expecting. So that's what I got to say there. But, man, I'm not going to take away from what they did tonight. I can't be a Debbie Downer. I love what this team's doing. Garrett Nussmeier, like you guys said a minute ago, game manager. He looked the part. He didn't do anything flashy, but he looked the part. And that's what you needed him to do. So for me, loved what Garrett did. The highlight of the night's the defense. I mean, my goodness gracious. Mansour Delane was fantastic in coverage.
We haven't even mentioned him. My God. What a night he had.
Mansour was an absolute beast in coverage. Absolutely loved what he provided this team. So I'm going to rock with 10-2 for now. I hate to switch up my prediction after 1 week, but, man, you got to give credit where it's due. And I'll eat my words if I'm wrong, like I am with the 9-3 prediction so far. But nonetheless, man, a hell of a day for LSU.
All right, I want Zach to take this one though, because we've talked about this so much tonight. Super chat from Doug knows, where was Chris Hilton? Still has no feel.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you just have an embarrassment of riches to work with at the wide receiver position, and it wasn't his night. I think there's going to be some nights where players have opportunities to eat. I don't think tonight was his. I think Aaron Anderson, you had to go to Mr. Reliable to let him really get his fair share. He finished with 6 receptions, like 100 yards, 99 yards. So he was your leading receiver on the day. He came up with big-time plays. Barry and Brown's touchdown that got taken away was unbelievable. But nonetheless, you saw Garrett Nussmeier utilize other weapons. I just don't think it was Chris Hilton's day. I think this is a guy that's going to be utilized in the future. I just don't think today was where you were going to kind of allow him to really get the most reps is the best way.
So wait, you're not at all concerned about the pattern of Chris Hilton disappearing during the regular season just to show up in a bowl game or in practice?
Well, it's easy to disappear when you're not on the field. I mean, he's always hurt. So, it's a challenge for me to write him off and say that just because he's never healthy. So you never really get the opportunity to see him in regular season action just because he's never on the field. So, yeah, is it concerning? For sure. For sure. But nonetheless, when you have 8 receivers deep that you can go in every single day, I can't really sit back and be too worried.
Alex Jr. hit a comment. Whoa, Preston, go back and watch the JD5 film. Look, man, Jane Daniels had some absolute dimes. That's why I said like top 10 passes. It was an incredible dime of a pass. Jane Daniels hit a lot of those. In fact, I think he hit 3 of them in the Texas A&M game alone. I don't know exactly where it would rank. I just saying it's among the best passes I've seen in the post-Burrow era. That's all I meant to say. If there's 10 that were better from Jaden Daniels, then I'm not going to sit there and disagree with that.
It was a catch, right? Like, are we going to sit back and
come on, man. What are we talking about? Of course it was a catch.
Now, are we homers for that, or is that just like the general narrative?
I don't know, Zach.
Mike,
I don't want to bust you too hard, but you did come up in here wearing the LSU gear tonight.
I know. On the side, yeah. This is another mother-in-law gift.
Dude, I'm so glad you've got that on lockdown, man, because you have quite the expensive closet from her. But I mean, are we homers when even the broadcast was just like, that's unbelievable? Like, they literally like, you want to review this because that might have been a touchdown.
Wait, pull up that comment, the most recent one from B_rock. I want your perspective on that, Preston. Because
all right,
wow, that's
it's questionable is my grade right now. Questionable. Some people are saying it was behind the line of scrimmage. I didn't see that. I need to look up the rule because it is a little bit of a complicated rule and look at the play more in depth. I thought it was questionable at best. Here's the thing, though. Earlier that drive, I thought there was a blatant holding on the 4th down play from Cade Klubnik where they just blatantly held Whit Weeks for a second and a half. And he was right in front of the play. By the way, it saved the sack, in my opinion. So, yeah, let me get back to you on the pick play. There's probably some people out there who've had the pleasure of being able to go review the film. Zach, did you get a chance to look at that again? I've just been too busy to really dig into the rules and watch the film.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty blatant in my perspective. Okay. I thought it was a pick play. I thought it should have stuck. I thought it should have been a flag. what do I know? I mean, again, no matter what, I can't sit back and dwell on plays like that when LSU comes out and just responds every single time. Every time they got hit below the belt, they bounced back every single time. And that, to me, is what stuck out like a sore thumb. When you kind of look at observations from tonight, every single time they got hit in the gut, I mean, my goodness, they just bounced back every single time. So for me, I think they're going to need that juice throughout the rest of the regular season when you're playing in the SEC. I think Clemson's a super talented team, but it's going to get even more daunting. I think it's going to get even more challenging. We know that it's the SEC, but to see them continue to get kind of, get messed over with different plays and different calls, to see them bounce back was a really solid piece.
And one thing you pointed out there that I think really we haven't touched on and we need to have touched on tonight, the mental toughness of this team to get punched in the face like they did and then come back and fight the way they did. 10 out of 10 mental toughness on the team tonight, man. Love that fight that we saw.
DA, TigerBait's stat was right about training camp practice, how far the defense was within the offense. Almost every defense in all the games today, the defense was way ahead, especially ours, and better. I'm just – I walked away from the first half, and someone called me from the stadium, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, part of what I thought was ailing the offense in the first half, there was some red zone baloney that's been typical play calling. But to me, it looked like they were trying to get everybody involved and make every offensive player happy. I didn't like some of the substitutions. I don't like I don't know what to make of Chris Hilton tonight and his lack of production. If you would have said LSU was going to win this game and he wouldn't have a ball thrown to him till what mark was that in the game?
I don't know. Whenever he fumbled it in the third quarter.
That was insane to me. But Aaron Anderson did what he needed to do. Xavier Thomas with an incredible game. Caden Durham with some really nice pivotal runs. Nussmeier with a nice run when he did. That's something we talked about all last year. I don't know how often we'll see that throughout the season. But to me, it was just I was getting to the point where a lot of it was getting to be too cute. And I'm not disparaging Jawan Johnson and his efforts and Harlan Berry. Caleb Jackson came in and was part of a stalled drive. Again, Caden Durham is running up and down the field, and next thing you know, there's another running back or two in the game.
Oh, I thought this comment was funny. I prefer Hilton, Braun, and Anderson. I believe he's calling.
Yes, those three should be in the game.
Do you know who he's calling Braun right now?
Barry and Brown.
Yeah. No. I think he's calling Trades Green LeBron James. I think that's the joke there. Carver's, come back and tell. Is that a typo for Barry and Brown, or are you calling Trades Braun? Because I thought it was a joke about LeBron. Anyways, come back and follow up on
Preston, are you left-handed? What do you have that left brain thing going on?
He said Braun. LeBron James. The most
no one's thinking that.
Dominant NBA player of our generation. I thought it was a
Brown.
joke.
He definitely
he didn't say Brown. He said Braun.
It's a typo.
Okay, well, it's a typo. Anyways. Got a super chat here from Doug. No, look, if you want me to read it correctly, type it correctly, man. Otherwise, I think you're cracking a LeBron joke. All right. Anyways, Nuss is not a game manager.
Oh, wait, no, he did. He fixed it. Sorry.
He's being handicapped by play calling. The running game sucks. Put Juju and Xavier in the backfield was basically saving. See, I caught that typo. Saving the offense. Number one offense couldn't execute. Comments, guys? I'll let y'all take that one.
I mean, for me, I definitely don't think the play calling was what it should have been. I think there were definitely some errors in that aspect. I'm sure y'all hit on that earlier. But yeah, I don't think Nussmeier's a game manager. I think he's a game wrecker. I think this is a guy that can go out and make all the throws and really kind of elevate your offense. So by no means is he a game manager at all. I think you're going to start to see the play calling get a little bit more creative. We saw that tonight. I think they started off super slow, but then you started to see Xavier Thomas get kind of thrown in different spots as a true gadget wide receiver. The running game wasn't terrible tonight. I think there's definitely going to be some spots where it's going to advance. It wasn't perfect by any means, but it doesn't suck. I think there's still some opportunity there for them to really advance. I think you should have a young, inexperienced offensive line where it's just going to take time for them to gel. So I really think that this offense can hit its stride in a big way moving forward.
The defense took it to another level once Halsey entered in the second half. I agree. Halsey made his impact felt early. It's very clear to me that Halsey, look, Gilbert and all the safeties who played, they played admirably in that spot with the other 10 talented guys around them. I think Halsey really brings it to another level at that position. So, yeah. Did they score in the second half? No, it was a shutout in the second half, right? Yeah, they were down 10-3 and they lost 17-10. So, yeah, no, you cannot debate that, yeah, Halsey brought a strong impact.
All right, everybody. Tomorrow morning, Capital City Grill. Get over there for brunch. In fact, let me use this one. The chicken and waffles, that's definitely what I'm going with tomorrow. And LSU fans, make that your destination every Sunday after an LSU game, particularly if you're coming in from out of town, you're staying downtown. You're not going to beat their brunch from 11 to 2. And again, it's one of your premier brunch spots in the Baton Rouge area. And it's located at 100 Lafayette Street. And they've got everything that you could want. If you don't want any of the breakfast items, they've got sandwiches, burgers, club sandwiches. The French dip is out of this world. And but the brunch is from 11 to 2. You can get lunch until 3. You can go to capitalcitygrill.net and look at the menu. And again, I always tell y'all, get the carrot cake. It's the best in town. If you're full, get it to go. You'll eat it later Sunday evening when you're watching whatever's on HBO that night. If you're not watching the NFL. Which would be me. I don't watch the NFL. You can have that crap.
What a casual. Green doesn't flop on
Guys,
the field.
I'm going to let y'all finish up your show. I'm going to be listening. I'm going to get some work done on my end as well. But I'll be tuned.
All right, Zach.
Thanks
for hopping in, man. See you Monday.
Absolutely. You have a good night. I'll see you Monday.
Later, bro. Green doesn't flop on the field. He can't be LeBron. Clever comment. Well, I was going to ask Zach about this one, but he had to hop out. So backup left tackle is DJ Chester. Yeah, based on what we saw tonight. And he's probably effectively your utility guy who comes in as the backup at a number of positions because he was training at left guard. He was starting at left guard to begin fall camp. He went in at left tackle, and of course, he's your backup center. So he's probably your sixth man on this line.
Everybody, do me a favor. Hit the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on Twitter, please share it, retweet it. And if you're watching this on Facebook, also hit the like button and share it to your Facebook feed. For those watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, notification bell. And like I said earlier in the show, go to @TigerBaitCom, all one word, @TigerBaitCom, and follow our new TigerBait Twitter account. We just started that up a few days ago. That way we're not running everything TigerBait related through my personal Twitter. We actually have a dedicated TigerBait Twitter account finally. I should have done that 10 years ago, right, Preston?
Yeah, we had a little bit of a turf war trying to get the @TigerBait handle, but we eventually decided to bite the bullet and say Elon Musk ain't coming to save us. We're just going to do something else.
And that's a good thing, Music. This honestly feels like a Miles team with a much better offense.
Early Miles or late Miles?
It means a physical defense that's one of your better units in the country.
Mike,
you don't have the putrid offense that Les Miles had.
When was the last
recipe
time
for success
in a big football game you could rely on your defense to carry you to victory like you saw tonight?
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time? 2018, maybe. It feels right seeing LSU win a game like this. I can't remember the last gritty big football game where you just toughed it out and you didn't light it up offensively, but you got the win. It feels right.
Doug knows Halsey is a grown-ass man that brings the wood. Love to see it. And I saw this one. Fire 3449. Mike, Verge Osbury saved his job for this week. This has been going on for years, and you can ask Brian Kelly, and they're not saying one thing publicly and something different off the record. They're all on board with these big games. None of them want to get rid of them, whether it's Scott Woodward, Brian Kelly, Ed Orgeron before him. They want these marquee games. And so But Verge takes all the heat because he's known as the guy that does the scheduling. But believe me, if Brian Kelly didn't want these games or any head football coach, they wouldn't be happening.
Jordan Rubershow, I think that's what a Ruberstel. Why didn't we see Caleb Jackson in short yardage? I think there's a very simple answer to that. I think Caden Durham is your short yardage back. He's your starting back, and he's your short yardage back.
I think we saw Caleb on one play, and it went nowhere. And I don't know if it's going to be a constant where Harlan Berry gets more touches, Jawan Johnson gets more touches. Does Xavion have similar roles every week? To me, I don't know that you're going to be able to get away with that with Xavion as much because they're going to know what you're doing every time they see him, lined up that way. I'd like to see Caleb get some more opportunities. I just think the bottom line with him is how good of a blocker is he in passing situations, and how is his vision in finding the right holes in the right lanes compared to the other running backs. There's a lot of talent there. And I think any day now we're going to get word that JT Lindsey's has been cleared. I think that's coming pretty soon based on everything that I'm gathering. So you'll have him coming in at running back as well. All right. Anything you want to add before we get out of here? Baye's Oyster Bar, right?
Oh, yeah. Do you need me to read the script?
Nope, I got it. Baye's Oyster Bar, everybody. It's the new oyster spot in Baton Rouge. Get downtown. Of course, it's the old Jolie Pearl. Just great oysters. 315 North Boulevard. The freshest farm-raised oysters from Grand Isle. No mud, no grit, just clean, delicious flavor. If you're not in oysters, they've got an incredible turkey brie and bacon sandwich. Their classic roast beef po' boy is off the chain. Fully stocked bar complete with top-notch bourbon, whiskey, and a massive craft beer selection. So don't miss out on Baton Rouge's newest oyster spot, and make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. All right, Preston, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Oh, you're darn right. I got one last comment I got to get to here. Missed it. I'll be honest, Preston, you were 100% right. Bama is trash. I told people I don't believe in Bama in the post-Saban era, and I don't believe in Ty Sampson. Jalen Milroe was a bad quarterback who had as many interceptions as points against Oklahoma. So what? He ran wild on a bad LSU defense. So what? He ran for 200 yards and still passed for about, I don't know, like 100 or something. He just ran wild. He's an excellent athlete. He runs a 4.37. I get it. Great athlete. You took advantage of a bad defense, but good defenses can shut you down. He was not a good quarterback. And guess what? Somehow Ty Simpson was worse. It showed today. And now Kalen DeBoer has as many losses to unranked teams in 1 year and one game as Saban had in 17 flipping years in Tuscaloosa. Why would you believe in post-Saban Bama? Because you are a fanboy allergic to logic. And there's not a more correct person on the internet today than Preston Guy. Lee Corso's more correct, but he sure as hell ain't on the internet. So it's Preston winning the internet today.
All right. I'll let that be the end of it. And so y'all hit the like button. We got a lot for you. Brian Kelly's post-game, Garrett Nussmeier's post-game is already up on our YouTube channel. Got a lot on our Facebook page, TigerBait. And Brian Lazar's instant analysis piece is up on the front page of TigerBait.com. Please go over there and subscribe for $1. Premium content. We were out at Jamborees the last couple of nights. We've got some exclusive video coming from Catholic High and Madison Prep. And even got some interviews after that one. So we're going to have that on TigerBait.com. If you're not subscribed, please, again, go check us out for $1. You'll get our text alerts for breaking news, our newsletters, and we've got a lot coming your way next week for the first home game. And we'll be at BK's presser on Monday. And it's Labor Day, but I'll be working. And we have a lot for you on TigerBait. So everybody, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy this one. And it's going to be a fun season. We'll be back here after every post game. And now Preston gets to finish off his game story.
Oh, thanks for reminding me.
All right, everybody. Good night.